Hey, it is Soncerae here. I appreciate you tuning in to my live stream. Make sure you thumbs up. You got one job. This is a partnership right here. You got one job. Thumbs up the live stream. If you are a man, please come into my comment section with a bit of respect when you speak to me. Have something intellectual to bring to the comment section so we can have a better understanding of one another. I am a woman, so there are a lot of men out here who have their grief and grapes and whatever about women. I say grapes. Is grape even a term? Grapes, grapes, graves. I don't know, some shit. A lot of men have complaints about women, especially women, kind of like me, women who are single mothers, women who are very comfortable with their sexuality, women who are confident, women that might have a tinge of masculinity. A lot of men have a difficult time dealing with Black women like me. So there was a time I wanted to try to help men and their relationships with women. And I think that over the few years, men have been much harder on me, especially since I had my son. And I think a lot of men kind of felt some type of way because of the way that my son's father treated me, not my daughter's father. I think a lot of beta males, they're looking for leadership. And a lot of times they look at some of the things that other men do and kind of want to emulate that behavior instead of learning from different types of men, from betas and alphas together, and then determining what kind of man they want to be and what kind of unique personality that they want to have and how they should be carrying themselves. So a lot of men struggle inside of that department often, and a lot of men also have a difficult time listening to women, but you want women to hear you. This is the biggest problem with men. You want women to hear you. You want women to hear you complaining. You want women to change who they are. You want good women to come into your life, but then you don't take the time to listen to when women want to talk to you, right? You don't want to hear it. So it's going to be difficult for you to learn if you don't listen to women. At some point, you got to listen to something a woman is saying to you. Now, a lot of men don't listen because they had some negative experiences with women. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of the reasons why a lot of men have hangups is because of experiences that they have had with women, and not just their mothers or women that they used to date, but maybe a relative or a teacher or even a coworker or maybe their boss, something like that. Men have had like a lot of bad experiences with women, and sometimes these men don't have the emotional intelligence required in order to process what's happening to them. So they have a negative kind of, I don't know, perspective or a negative type of reaction to what they experience uh, negatively from women. Okay, it's like I was saying the other day, I was talking about how there was some men out there who may have said some things that were nasty about me, and I didn't necessarily provoke them, but they said certain things and did certain things. And the way that I responded to these men, I feel like I could have responded in a much better way instead of stooping down to their level, because stooping down to their level only made the situation worse than what it was. So I think a lot of men do that. I think a lot of immature people do that in general. I think women do that too. When you don't have emotional intelligence, that's usually how you respond to a lot of things. And so, what I notice about a lot of men have like issues with women. I did a live stream the other day. It was called Defining High End Single Mothers, Alphas and Betas. And when I talk about alphas and betas, it's simple. Alphas are good men, betas are bad men. I don't complicate it. I just don't want to generalize men. So I say alphas is good men, betas are bad men. And so on in this video, I was just trying to explain the difference from a baby mama and a single mother. And a lot of people don't understand that there is such thing as a high-end single mother. There is such thing as a single mother who's a great parent, who's co-parenting with the fathers of their children. There's no drama there. She's not still sleeping with him. She's not, trying to drain him for his money. She's out there making her own money. That's the type of woman I am. Okay. It's high-end single mothers out here. And I just want men to understand that when they make poor choices in women, whether they have children or not, this woman is a poor choice, whether she has a child or not. Depending upon what kind of character she has, determines how she's going to treat you. Whether she has kids or not is neither here nor there. Because a woman with a good character can have children. A woman with a bad character can also have children. Both good men and good men and bad men can also have children. It, Having a child, even out of wedlock, is not designated to just one type of person with one type of character. People who have children have all different types of characters. So when you get in relationships with women, you have to determine what kind of character they have before you get in a relationship with them, and don't allow their children to be the determining factor whether or not you deal with them or not. Okay, at least not at first, because you do want to have a good relationship with her children. You don't want to be with a woman who, number one, has a bad relationship with her children herself. She doesn't know how to discipline them. She doesn't take care of them well. They're all over the place. Usually children who are bad, or children who are misbehaving, there's a problem. There's the person that is their guardian is not parenting them well. Okay, so that's usually how it goes when you're dealing with a woman who has bad children. So, of course, I'm not saying if you have this preference, like, say, for instance, you have this preference of not wanting to date single mothers. There's nothing wrong with you not wanting to date a single mother. Let me just get that out the way, because I think a lot of people think when I say only alpha males can date single mothers, they think that only that I'm saying that alphas don't have a preference. You do have a preference. Alphas have a preference. Betas have a preference. You can date whatever type of woman you want. It's up to you. You can date short women, tall women, skinny women, broke women, women with money, women with weave, women that don't wear weave. It's up to you. That's your choice. No one is trying to like disrespect you because you've decided to make this choice for yourself. But what I want men to understand is you should be trying to date a woman based off of her character, not whether she has children or not. How does she treat you as a man? So let me read a comment that I got off of a live stream I did the other day. The live stream is called Defining High-End Single Mothers, Alphas, and Betas. Okay. And inside of the comment section, a guy came in, and I'm going to read to you his comment. His comment said, I wouldn't care if you didn't have any of those negative traits tied to single mothers. If you have kids that are not genetically mine, I want no part of that. There is nothing but a shaming movement demanding and forcing these irrelevant to be involved with other men's children. I don't know what he meant by that. I'm just reading word for word, okay? I don't have any children, so I prefer to be with a woman who doesn't have children already. Apparently, that's asking for too much. My first girlfriend was a single mother, and she treated me like an ATM machine and made no time for me. After her, I said I never wanted to go through that again. To this day, I don't mess with single mothers. And if I leave this planet without getting a woman because I refuse to settle for leftovers, then so be it. Now, here's the problem. Okay, here's the problem in that statement. I'm gonna break this statement down. I'm gonna break this comment down, and we're gonna talk about what's beta about it. Okay, because you having the preference isn't what's making you beta. All right, so I'm gonna try to explain it the best way I can, and hopefully men will get it, because you guys are kind of hard headed. So I'm gonna try harder. Okay, so this man says, I wouldn't care if you didn't have any of those negative traits tied to single mothers. You should care. He says, if you have kids that are not genetically mine, I want no part in it. Now, the reasoning why this man doesn't want any part in it is because he dated a single mother who was a bad person. He dated a baby mama who used him for money, treated him like an ATM machine, and made no time for him. Let me tell you something about women. Whether we have children or not, We can still make you an ATM machine and not have time for you. These two things that he listed that were issues he had with dating a single mother had nothing to do with the fact that she had children. She just played him. It's going to be women out there that are going to play you for your money. You have to be careful because it's literally women out here who don't have two nickels to rub together and they're looking to consider your money theirs. It's hypergamy gurus all over social media teaching girls how to play y'all for y'all money, how to stroke y'all ego so y'all can give them money. Okay? Because they're out here looking for quote unquote providers instead of partners. Now, I know some men out here, you take pride in being a partner. I mean, a provider. There are a lot of men out there that take pride in being a provider. Hey, Johnny, there's nothing wrong with you taking pride in being a provider, but make sure that the woman that you're dealing with hasn't been using like manipulation tactics in order to get you to do that. Because a lot of women are being taught tactics on how to get you to do what they want you to do. I encourage women all of the time, go out there and get your own bread so you can have a partnership with the man. Usually men who are wealthy anyway, like men, a lot of men, I'm not just going to say usually, I'm just going to say a lot of men out there who are wealthy are very disrespectful and degrading. They're usually assholes from what I've experienced. So for me, I've always said it's better for you as a woman to go out here and get your own bread and then let a man enhance your life and spoil you. That's what women, quality women do. That's what I've always been taught from quality women. No quality woman I've known, no high value woman I've ever known has said, lay on your back, have sex with men, and use them for their money and don't do anything else with your life. No woman nowhere that I have known has told me that. So I'm just teaching what I learned from the wealthy women I grew up around and the wealthy women I was with. And now the type of woman that I am now that I'm wealthy. Now I was wealthy in my mid 20s and I still handled men this way. Like there was a time where I was using men for money because I was taught that for a second. Like someone was teaching me that. And so in my early 20s, I was thinking that I should use men for money because that's all y'all was supposedly good for. I was always taught from women inside of my family that men were always going to cheat and to always be with a man who had money. Even though the women in my family all had money, that is still what they taught me about men. So I had to dump that out my mind and relearn and have a healthy definition of what men are in my mind. Because if I left it up to the women that taught me, I would have like this, monolithic thought process about men because they always believe that all men cheat. I don't believe that. I don't believe all men cheat. Hey, bullets. I don't believe all men cheat. So if well, what I encourage women to do when I'm talking to women who want to be high value women, I teach them, please make sure you have a source of income. Please make sure you have your own business. Please, if you're getting money from men, let's say you are getting money from men, invest that money into something. Don't just take his money and that's it and be dumb. It's a lot of girls that's in their early 20s that I'm talking to right now that I'm teaching that are convinced that all they need to be dating is CEOs and men who are rich because it's stupid to date a man who doesn't have money. But then when I tell them to take inventory on themselves, they'll say shit like, well, I'm just a student. Like being a student has suddenly gave them license to use men for money. When I talk to young ladies and I say, hey, you want a sugar daddy? I tell them, listen, even if you want a sugar daddy, go out there and get your own bread. Always use a man's money to enhance your lifestyle, not rely on him. There's a difference between relying on a man, like needing him, versus desiring him. Okay? So let's go back to this guy's post. So what he said was, let's go back. He said, I wouldn't care if you didn't have any of those negative traits tied to single mothers. You can't approach women not caring about their characters, because then they're not going to care about you. Look at the energy that you're putting out into the world. When men come into my comment section and they say things like, I'm not going to listen to women, well, stop expecting women to listen to you. You can't be that type of person. That's not how communication works. Part of being a healthy communicator is being able to comprehend something someone is saying to you. So if you're the type of man walking around here not listening to things that women are saying, you're beta. You'll never improve. You'll never be alpha, because you're purposely not listening to women explain to you what women need from you. Women will tell you what kind of woman they are. You just have to listen. Listen to what she's showing you. Listen to what she's saying. See, women, we are more, it's more likely for us to tell you what's up. See, men, y'all will say one thing and do another. But women, usually we just say it. Now, I'm not saying women don't lie, but usually women are more or are better about saying who they are up front. You got some sneaky women out there, but for the most part, women will tell you. You know, if a woman is not interested, she'll flat out say that. All right. So he said, um, there is nothing but a shaming movement demanding and forcing the irrelevant to be involved with other men's children. Now, I'm not a part of some movement where I'm encouraging men to be stepfathers. If you don't want to be a stepfather, don't be a stepfather. I keep telling men, not every man has what it takes to have that type of leadership skill. And then when I say it like that, they think I'm trying to slick this. No, you literally have to have some type of leadership skill, high morals, and have the ability to mentor young people in general. A lot of times, like, say, for instance, let's talk about Russell Wilson for a second. And I'm only using Russell Wilson as an example because you guys know who he is. Okay. So, Russell Wilson, before he met Sierra, the single mother, he was already mentoring children. He was already in a leadership role to where that's what he was doing. So being a stepfather to him was actually admirable. A lot of athletes who do mentoring, and a lot of big brothers, and a lot of like men who are in fraternities and stuff, they do like mentoring programs. So it's nothing for them to step up and be a stepfather. That's just what they're used to. But if you decide that that's not what you want because that's just not you, then don't force it. I'm not out here shaming men because they don't want to be stepfathers. What I'm trying to encourage men to understand is that just because you don't want to be a stepfather, stop trying to encourage other men not to be. Because some men are just comfortable with it. And just because you made a poor decision in a woman that you dated once doesn't mean that all single women are her. It doesn't mean that all single mothers are her. So if I was in a relationship with a man, like, say for instance, y'all see me go through my heartbreak with my son's father, would I look like treating every other man that came after him how I should have treated him? That's not fair, because these people that are coming after my son's father, they're not him. So what I notice a lot of beta males are doing, you're treating every woman you meet the same way that you should have treated your ex. You made the mistake of trusting your ex. So you think every single woman is like her, or every single mother is like her. No. So when you're in my comment sections complaining about single mothers, a lot of y'all, it's because y'all dated one and she hurt your feelings. But you could have dated a woman who didn't have kids. A lot of y'all still single ended up getting hurt by another woman after she came, and that other woman that you got with ain't had kids. But you don't look at that woman who didn't have kids the same way you look at that woman who did have kids, when they both hurt you. Both of the women hurt you. The childless one and the woman with children both hurt you. But for some reason, you still only focused on the single mother who hurt you. And she's the only one that you can't date. If you're not going to date people, the type of woman that hurt you, you wouldn't be dating in general. Like if you put it like this, if you was to factor in whether a woman had a child or not and let that determination be the reason why you dated a woman, you never did a woman who ain't shit, you wouldn't have any women today. There would be no women left. You don't want to date the childless woman, and you don't want to date the single mother. So then it becomes a question of is it does it make more sense to date a woman with a dubious character if she doesn't have children? Why is that more beneficial? Why would that be of more value to you? Dating a woman who um, doesn't have children. You feel what I'm saying? All right. So let's see. I'm not a feminist. I'll come into the chat and talk to you, the fool, when I have a moment. But I'm not a feminist. I'm just talking about I'm just talking to men. I give men relationship advice. That's what I do. So anyway, I'm going back to this guy's comment, and then I'll come back and speak with you. So he said, I don't have any children, so I prefer to be with a woman who doesn't already have children. That's fair. That's your choice. But stop trying to encourage other men who feel comfortable with it to not do it. Because that's all I see men doing. All I see men who have made poor choices in women, instead of them just making better choices in women who have a better character, they just want to blame their negative experience on a single mother, right? So all I see them doing is complaining about their ex-mother. It's like, no, just improve your process, your sifting process. Because it's a process when you're dating, like when you're out here and you're dating these women, usually a woman will just tell you what kind of person they are by their behavior or what they're saying. You'll see the red flags. You just gotta stop giving women the benefit of the doubt because she's beautiful, or she got a big butt, or she got big breasts. Because we all see everybody's red flags usually. We just give people the benefit of the doubt. We don't want to believe the negative part about them. So we say to ourselves, okay, I can deal with this. So if you're the type of person you know you can't deal with somebody else's children, that's fine. That's your preference. Um, Another part of this comment that makes this man beta is what he said when he said, I refuse to settle for leftovers, as if a single mother is a leftover. No, let me explain something to you. Just because a woman got into a relationship that didn't work out doesn't suddenly mean she's leftovers to every single man. If you would classify put it like this, everybody you meet is leftovers if that's the case. Whether this woman has children or not, she's leftovers because before you came, she was dating somebody else. So unless you find a woman out here that's never had sex, never been in a relationship, never had children, she is leftovers of somebody else. Even if she didn't have that person's children. These are beta hurtful terms that y'all use that isn't logical. It doesn't make any sense. That's why when I see a man come into my comment section and he's disrespectful, that's where I get the calling him beta because they say shit like this. I refuse to settle for leftovers as if a single mother is a leftover. Every single woman you date is a leftover. If she dated somebody before you, and I'm pretty sure every single man, whether you have kids or not, you're a leftover because there was somebody that you dated before you dated who you currently dating. So to say it like single mothers are the only ones that's leftovers, it's just weird. Because we basically just did the same thing a lot of y'all are doing. Single mothers basically did the same thing a lot of males have done, where you got into a relationship with somebody, you didn't necessarily like pay attention to the red flags, and then something terrible happened, and y'all ended up breaking up. We did the same thing. That's all it is. Just because a man abandoned his children doesn't mean that we're bad. I think a lot of people think that we are bad suddenly because these men abandon their children. Okay, thank you, Gotti, for saying something about my voice. Um, I don't know why you're the fool you're asking a man to settle for being last in a woman's life. No, usually good women, this thing that you're saying, you said you're asking a man to settle for being last in a woman's life. No, that's not what happens when you're dating a single mother. When you're dating a single mother, now put it, let me just factor this in. Guy I'm dating right now, he's a single father. He has two children. He has two children from the same woman. Okay. And I'm dating him and I have a 3-year old. Okay. His kids are like 7 and 8. My son's 3. And then I have a 20-year-old. All right. What he and I tend to do in order to make time for one another is a lot of different things, a lot of FaceTiming, a lot of voice notes, a lot of text messages, a lot of scheduling stuff ahead of time. We just don't have spontaneity often. We have to plan everything because we have children. So it isn't that you don't make time for one another or you last in a woman's life to where that's a bad thing, because you don't want to date a woman who will put a man before their children. Do not date women who will put men before their children. Trust me. Because I don't think you understand this because you don't have children, but when you do have children, you are going to be pissed if your wife or your girlfriend puts some nigga, even you, in front of your kids. When you have children, a lot of men don't know this. When you have children, it's like your heart just jumped out of your chest and got legs and started walking. You are terrified. That's how much you love your kids. Nothing comes before your kids. And you won't expect that. You won't expect a woman to be like that. If you get married, let's say you do this in the order of operations where you fall in love, you get married first, and then you have kids. Let's say you do that. After your wife has your kids, you're still going to be last in that woman's life because the children come before you. Just because you marry a woman or get in a relationship with a woman doesn't mean that you're still going to be first once she has your children. You're still going to be after those kids. Now, you say, hey, I want to be last in this woman's life if she has my kids. And that's fine. Like I said, that's a preference. That's your choice. There is nothing wrong with you having that preference. But don't be upset when a woman doesn't want to date you because you have a gut. That's her preference. Don't be mad if a woman doesn't want to date you because you're not making $100,000 a year. That's a preference. Don't be mad if a woman don't want to date you because you bald or you got a little dick or you live with your mama or something, anything. She don't like the type of job you have. She don't like the way that you kiss. She don't like the way you chew your damn food. You might snore at night. She don't like that shit. Those are preferences. It's okay. Just don't be mad when women also have those preferences as well. And what I'm noticing is most men don't like for women to have preferences. Y'all want to be able to choose freely, but you don't want us to. You want us to love you through anything. And that's bullshit, and women are getting tired of that. So that's my biggest thing with the betas. Betas, you gotta stop begging to have preferences and then expect women not to have them. All right? You said, but you already have a child and that will always exist. And every time you look into the child's eyes, you see the other person. No, you won't. That's a false. See, I can tell this is a person who's never dated somebody who's had kids or has never dated or has never had kids themselves. Because when you love somebody, like say for instance, I told you I'm dating a guy, right? I like this guy. All right. Any guy I've dated that has children, I looked at his children as an extension of him. I didn't look at his children as if they belong to somebody else. They're him. Those children are him. It's the same thing with women. When you meet women, her children are her. They don't necessarily belong to somebody else. They belong to her. You're factoring in that nigga she ain't with too much. You focused on her ex more than she is. When people look at my son, they see me. Men who date me, when they see my son, they be like, oh my God, your son just like you. He don't even look like his father. He look just like you. He act like you. He do everything you do. That's why they love my son, because they love me. Any man who loves my personality, he loves my son, because my son act like me. The things that men love about being in my presence, my sense of humor, my ability to listen, how caring I am, how fun it is to be around me. My son is the same way. So they're having fun with each other in a whole nother masculine ass way. So when you see women with kids and you have some sense, when you love her, you genuinely love her. You love her kids, man. I'm telling you. I'm just trying to tell you what stepfathers have told me, what I've seen stepfathers do. When I seen men genuinely love a woman. If you having a hang up about your woman's children, you don't genuinely love her. You don't genuinely love her. You with her for selfish reasons. The second you become selfless and you start dating a woman because you love her genuinely, you're going to love her kids, man. Especially if she has a good character and she takes good care of her kids, because usually our kids are good. Not every situation that you get in with a woman who has kids is going to be bad. Like, I think every time y'all think about single mothers, y'all think about some ghetto ass baby kids running around and they bad as fuck in the hood or some shit. No. It's single mothers out here living in mansions, baby. It's single mothers out here living in big ass houses, mansions, driving luxury cars. They have good relationships with their children. They have good relationships with the fathers of their children. They're co-parenting just fine. They're out there. They're high-end single mothers. Just like a quality woman is difficult to find and all of this debris. All of these hoes and low energy women and people that y'all don't claim you don't want to kick it with, and all of the drama that come with them and that bullshit. That's low hanging fruit and fruit that's on the ground. You got high end women at the top of that tree. And these high end women, some of them single mothers, some of them not. But if your preference is that you don't want to date single mothers, that's A-okay, baby. Just stop trying to convince men that are okay with loving their woman and loving her children. Stop trying to convince them not to date women because you got all of these negative traits that you tack on top of all single mothers. You cannot generalize all single mothers and then expect somebody to not generalize you. You can't do that, because the very woman that you like and want to kick it with could look at you and be like, damn, you remind me of my ex. My ex did this. I don't want to kick it with you because you just did something similar that my ex did. He used to cook me the same meal. I don't want to be with you. You know what I'm saying? That's not fair, because you not her ex. I'm tired of men treating me like I'm their ex just because I'm a single mother. I don't know your ex, baby. I ain't never seen your ex. I ain't never seen that baby mama that your friend was dating that he was complaining to you about. I ain't never seen that bitch. I don't know her like that. She not me. Give me a clean slate, because I worked too damn hard to be a good woman for you to sit there and compare me to a woman I don't even know. And as a good woman myself, I'm sitting here explaining to y'all, oh, you missing out. It's plenty of good ass single mothers out there. A lot of them done got married. I'm telling you, they get married quick as shit. They get married quick as shit. Niggas be like, oh, marry him, man. And not every single man made a poor choice in woman. It's a lot of men that make good choices. And everybody makes a poor choice in a relationship sometimes. Sometimes that does happen. The fool, you doing the most. You got way too many comments up here. A man with no children deserves a full partner. I don't know why you think a person with children isn't a full partner. Yeah, a person with children can still be a full partner. I don't know. This is a person. No wonder you called the fool, because you saying a whole bunch of dumb shit up here. A man with no children. Men want their own kids. You can still have your own kids with a woman who's had children. I'm pretty sure it's women out here that want to, get on a pipe that ain't never been rolled before. But that's not realistic. I want a man that ain't never been broke before. You feel me? The type of man I want, like, it's a lot of y'all have unrealistic expectations of women. And then you wonder why you can't find one, because you have to be realistic. Stop looking for a motherfucking princess from a Disney movie and start looking at real women. I'm telling you right now, Disney movies, rom-coms, porn, all of that shit is fake. Like the Easter Bunny, like Santa Claus. Have a real perspective of women. You're asking for something that you are not yourself. And that's the problem. You're not perfect. You're not unused. You're not still in wrapping paper. Someone done opened your ass and used you already. Some chick done rolled your pipe. Some chick done kissed on you. You think women genuinely just want a man who been touched by another woman before? No, we don't want to think about the women that you was with before we came. And we for damn sure don't like it when we're in a relationship with you. And then we find out you've been with another woman. Oh, hell. That's a whole nother thing. But anyway, um, you doing too much. You got to slow down. I can't. That's too much. Like, you doing too much to fool. You doing way too. That's too many comments. Too many at one time. You not coming here to listen. If you coming into my chats, I tell y'all all the time. You come in here, you got to be able to listen. You got to have an open mind. You got to empty that cup a little bit. You got to pour some of that bullshit out in order for you to get some good shit. If you coming into, my live chats with a cup of damn shitty ass liquor, but you want my high end liquor, you got to pour that liquor out. You understand? You want me to give you some Belvedere or some Grey Goose, but you got that nasty ass Coke 45 in your cup. You got to pour that shit out in order for me to give you something good. Don't come into my chats closed-minded. You'll never learn anything. I'm here to teach men who actually want to improve and who actually want to have a better understanding of women in general. Because I'm telling you, a lot of y'all missing out because you don't want to empty your cup. You're missing out because you don't want to trust a woman who's a good woman, sit here and tell you how to find one. I'm telling you, there are good women out there that got kids and there are good women out there that don't. There are bad women out there that have kids and there are bad women out there that don't. So you got to learn how to sift through these women's characters. That's why you're having bad experiences with these women. It doesn't have anything to do with their children. You're sticking two things together that don't belong together. It's a stretch. That's like me saying, oh, broke niggas ain't shit and all of them niggas is going to treat me like shit. Nah, just because a man is lacking in the financial literacy department don't mean he going to treat me bad. Just like when a man is wealthy, if he has a shit ton of money and he does have financial literacy, it doesn't mean that he's going to treat me good. This is the stuff that y'all need to stop. But this is false premises. This is what's ruining y'all. You don't know how to be with nobody. This is why a lot of people just been single for such a long time, where they get into these relationships and they show so short and they move on to the next person. Come on, man. Thank you, Tiffany. It's not realistic to think she can never have another man. Y'all think a chick can, if she's been with one man, she can't never be with another man again. If she's had one child, she can't have another child again. You can have a child with a woman who's had a child already. That is a thing. You'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like saying, like, say for instance, and I hate to use this as a loose analogy. This is very loose analogy. Just because one person walks through a Walmart door, does that mean nobody else can go in Walmart? Like, Walmart done after that. You can't benefit off Walmart no more. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Stop thinking of women as objects. Like, a lot of people look at women, they objectify women. So they consider women like their cars and depreciating value after a whole bunch of mileage is on it. We're not objects. We're human beings. We have way more resilience and way more flexibility than that. Stop putting standards and expectations on women that you don't even put on your damn self. Why does sex work make a woman tainted? Why does sex work? Let me tell you something about sex work. That's another thing. I was trying to talk about the other day, women who are in the adult film industry where they are out here married. I talked about that. These women out here getting married, man. It's men out here that's not stunting, that's what these women do for a living. It's a woman on YouTube right now. She used to do like masturbation by herself. Her husband used to be the one that took the pictures. Come on, man. The guy I'm dating, he's like, yo, if we ever get married, we need to go on and do OnlyFans together. Come on, y'all. Y'all have to stop being like y'all. I don't know. Just the way that you think. It's weird because you only pick certain things that are convenient for you to listen to when it comes to what society is trying to indoctrinate in you. You're very selective about it. And you pick the wrong shit to stick to, man. Wanting to have your own woman with your own family is not being realistic or having to have standards. Is this the same person that was overdoing it? Don't come back overdoing it because I'll block you here again from your second profile. Come on, man, give it a rest. Like, slow down. Like, let me read what you writing so I can understand. Stop throwing so much at me at once because it's annoying me. I can't comprehend and then reply to you, which you consistently sending messages over and over and over again. You have to slow down. If you want me to respond to you, if you want to have a dialogue, then we can do that. But you're not going to dominate my chat or dominate this thing that I'm doing. This is an oration where I'm trying to explain to these men who genuinely want to understand what's going on. If you don't want to understand, stop coming into the chat. I cannot sit here and try to convince a man of anything. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you what's up, and then you can choose to do what you want with the information. But I'm not going to sit here and argue back with you. This is not a debate. This is a dialogue. If you have questions for me, ask. But don't overwhelm me with bullshit. Now, number one, I'm not a feminist. I don't mind how many times I got to say that. I'm not a feminist. Wanting to have your own woman with your own family, that's your choice. How many times do I have to say that that's a preference you can have? That's up to you. You coming in here and you saying the same shit that you were saying from the last profile I blocked. All right. Listen, I don't know what you're saying about that's what lesbians tell other women. I don't know nothing about what lesbians be telling other people. I only know what I'm speaking about from my perspective as a single mother who has dated men, who is dating a man right now. I don't know what the fuck. Oh no, objectification, toxic masculinity, that's all lesbian derived from feminism. Listen, listen, moron. Those terms that I'm using, they came from me being an activist, not a feminist, an activist when I was doing work, and it had something to do about me being African American and supporting African American people. So a lot of the terms that I use are stemming from that, not feminism. So when I say the terms objectification or toxic masculinity, it had more to do with my race, not really my gender. Because anytime I would speak, do some type of public speaking, these would be the terms that I would use to describe beta males such as yourself who were African American and were aggressive. Toxic masculinity is a term that's used by me because I'm trying to decipher the difference between men who are healthy mentally, physically, emotionally versus men who are not. I use that term so I will not be guilty of generalizing men because there are men out there who know how to handle their emotions. There are men out there who have self-control. So in order for me to help men understand that I'm talking about men who have a specific type of problem, I have to say things like toxic masculinity. It's not a feminist term. It's just a term that I have to use in order to get men to understand that there's a healthy masculine way to handle things, and then there's a toxic masculine way to handle things. But never be ashamed of your masculinity, right? Okay. I don't know. I don't know what you're saying. Wait a minute. First, let me go back to this. You're saying it's not the mileage, it's the other man. Usually, the other man is not in the picture. If a woman is a single mother, the term single mother really means solo mother. So she's taking care of a child by herself. Single mother, the term single is not, it has nothing to do with her relationship status. It has to do with her parenting alone. Single means one. It means one parent, one mother. Her relationship status is neither here nor there, because there's a lot of women out there who are married that still feel like single mothers because they're taking care of their child alone, because their provider is out working, maybe in another place, maybe they're overseas or whatever the case is. So I have a group of single mothers, and inside of that group, a lot of them are solo parents as well. And then you have single fathers who are also single fathers, meaning they're solo parents. They're taking care of their children by themselves. Um, you bringing up a lot of LGBTQ stuff that has nothing to do with what I'm trying to discuss. You're not representing what men care about in regards to single mom. You're representing what you care about in regards to single moms. You're in here being selfish, talking about your damn self. You're talking about your preferences. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, betas. This is what's making you beta. The way that you're bombarding through my comment section, press for attention, just doing the most. This is what makes you beta. You're in here talking about your own preferences, but you want to make it seem like that's all men. That's not all men. That's not all men. That would mean I would be sitting here talking about all women, good women, bad women. I'm not. I'm only here representing high-end single mothers who have remarried or who are doing pretty good with themselves. They have their own money. They're not out here lying and hurting men. That's what I represent. I don't represent all women. I'm not here as a representative of all things feminine. I'm here to talk about single mothers who are actually beautiful women, happy women, healthy women, financially stable women. I don't know which, you keep using the ideas and rhetoric, so you are a feminist. I don't listen to feminist stuff. So I'm not repeating a rhetoric I heard or a narrative I heard somewhere else. I'm not feminist. I don't listen to feminist people. You know what I'm saying? I don't listen to none of it, because after I've heard about it, I just didn't like it. I just didn't like a lot of the things that are associated with feminism. Stop sitting here trying to tell me I'm something that I'm not, beta. This is what makes you beta. And y'all be wondering why I be calling men betas, because of shit like this. Because you're trying to tell me who I am. No, I'm not I'm telling you I'm not. So stop fucking calling me something that I'm not. If I'm telling you I'm not, shut the fuck up and listen. That's the problem. Betas don't listen. You don't comprehend. Comprehend. That's all it would take. That's all it would take. Sit down, shut the fuck up. This is why I don't talk to y'all. Because, like I said a million times, in order for me to be able to teach you, you have to listen. I'm teaching you about myself. I don't give a fuck what you learned from other women or what you're experiencing from other women. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I'm telling you from my perspective and what I've experienced. And if you can't handle a dialogue with me, don't be here. Stop telling me who I am. I'm telling you who I am. I'm teaching you who I am. Stop claiming that I'm the complete opposite, beta. You'll never win. You will never be able to get the kind of woman that you want behaving in this way. It's not going to happen for you. Until you know how to sit down and listen to a woman, you will never be able to have a comfortable, healthy relationship with one, because you can't even comprehend her long enough to be able to function properly with her. All right? Jeez, man. Hey, Miss Dixon. Harris, brothers keep bringing up the topic of Chad Wheeler. Chad Wheeler. You're talking about Chad Wheeler. Okay, the thing with Chad Wheeler, where the athlete who was white beat his girlfriend and she was black. I see why they keep bringing it up. I see why they keep bringing it up. Because you got women out here who are a part of the divestment community who are teaching black women that the solution to our problems is for us to date outside of our race. That's not the solution to our problems. Each race has its own problem. Just because he's white doesn't mean he won't beat the shit out you. Just because he's white doesn't mean he doesn't have a whole nother set of problems. I don't teach women to date outside of their race. What I teach women to do is to improve who they are as a person, have a little faith in the universe and God, and try to be a better woman, and learn what you need to learn so you can be able to avoid men who will do something like that. There's some type of standards and boundaries that you have to have as a woman to be able to avoid being inside of an abusive relationship. That wasn't the first time this man got to a point where he was going to punch her or try to kill her. He had been beating her. She should have been left him. What I try to do is equip women with the tools and things that they need in order for them to be able to feel confident enough to walk away from situations as such. You know, black men have every right to get onto their YouTube channels right now and start talking about this situation with Chad Wheeler and start using that shit as a crutch to prove a goddamn point about women and their quote unquote zaddies. I remember the first time somebody said zaddy to me, it had to been like a month ago. And it was on a post that was about Chad Wheeler. And he said like some weird joke that had something to do with this man beating the black woman. And he said, Soncerae, you know you love zaddies. I said, what the fuck is a zaddy? I ain't never heard nothing about what the fuck is a zaddy. I had to ask my daughter. Black men, one thing that they don't understand about dating outside of their race while we talking about black men and this foolishness, one thing that black men also don't understand is that when they date outside of their race, the women that they touch now become the bottom of the barrel to the men that are their race. So when a black man touches a white woman, no other white man wants that woman. It's difficult for her to find a white man to kick it with, because black men are classified as bottom of the barrel in the white community. Other races of people have more respect for black women than they do black men. Other races of people look at the African American community and classify the woman, African American woman, as the strong one, as the financial one, financially stable one, the wealthy one, the smart one. They don't look at black men in that way. You know why they think that? Because when they look at our community, they see the women being matriarchal, the men abandoning their children, women doing whatever they can to do to keep these families afloat without having a man there. And the reason why that keeps happening is because the black community has an issue with holding black men accountable for shit. We give black men excuses for when they decide to be lazy and not take care of their children, especially other black men who are also beta. The problem with the black community is that it's more betas walking around here than it is alpha. It's more betas walking around here with unhealthy mindsets, not wanting to be leaders or mentors to younger children. If you would get out of your own way and be on some alpha shit and go ahead and just date a single mom, fall in love with her, marry her, and raise her son or daughter from a patriarchal standpoint, then maybe other races of people would look at you like you worth something. But most betas are so selfish, they only think about themselves, they only care about themselves. They don't care about their community. Alphas are in leadership roles, most of them, and that's why it's so easy for them to be mentors to young children. But you try to explain that to a beta and he doesn't want to hear it. You know why? Because he's too fucking lazy, too fucking selfish, and too fucking narcissistic to be able to care about somebody other than his fucking self. And I blame a lot of single mothers for that. Don't get it twisted. It's baby mamas out here, Lord, raising their sons all motherfucking wrong, spoiling their sons rotten, but not teaching their sons how to be responsible and take accountability for their shit. There's no reason in the world why men should be walking around here feeling okay about abandoning their children, and they also have a mother. Let my son think for 2 minutes he about to abandon some chick with a baby. I'll be all up and through his shit. He'd be done fucked up his entire relationship with his mother because he over here abandoning a child. But these men are walking around here abandoning children, and their mothers and shit don't give a fuck about their own grandchildren. So it's single mothers that's the problem too. That's why when I do content, I call everybody out on their bullshit. Black men and black women. It's never one-sided with me, if you haven't noticed. And a lot of people have a problem with me because I won't pick a side. I tried to pick a side before. Didn't work. Can't. Because it's both parties. It's a problem with both parties. Not just women, not just men. You said, what about feminism don't I like? I don't like the way that a lot of women are misrepresenting feminism, because I don't believe that feminism is, let me be anti-man. I think being feminist means I support women. I don't think being feminist means I hate men. I got to do negative shit to men. I got to fuck men up. I don't believe that. I think that that's, no, that's too much. Have a background. Look, I'm quite educated, have a background in cognitive science and a master's in philosophy. Congratulations. I've never heard heterosexual women use the term toxic masculinity. I hear that shit all the time. I hear that shit all the time. All the time from heterosexual women. See, don't think for 2 minutes because I had a transgender LGBT live stream yesterday and I spoke about my bisexuality for 2 minutes that I'm sitting here and everything and every person and everything around me is now LGBT. No, my nigga, don't try it. And I got a feeling this is the same person from the last two profiles I just blocked from my chat. Toxic masculinity is something that heterosexual women use all of the time. I got the term. Let me tell you where I got the term from. It wasn't from an LGBT conference or march or no shit. I got the term from a heterosexual woman. I'm speaking from the perspective of there are good men, there are bad men. There's toxic masculinity and then there's healthy masculinity. Toxic masculinity is when a man is way too aggressive. He doesn't have emotional control. He's going around beating people up and shit, talking out of turn, don't know how to listen, have no self-control whatsoever, but he believes that that's what masculinity is. And that's what makes him a problem. Because part of being masculine has nothing to do with beating on women, disrespecting women, womanizing. No. You don't have to be a lesbian in order to use the term toxic masculinity. Terica, thanks, Patricia. Terica, you said don't disclose you've been with a white guy. I mean, who you decide to be in a relationship with, everybody. It's kind of just your business. You don't really have to tell anybody anything. You can keep it to yourself forever. Like, man, I ain't got to be nobody's business at all. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I don't believe like feminism. Like, I don't know, just the way that I seen feminism being used. Just like sometimes it's hard for me to deal with Christianity as well, because I feel like people use Christianity as a tool to harm other people. I feel like feminism is being used to harm people. I have a problem with misogyny and sexism as well. One night stand with a white dude doesn't mean I'm divesting. Let me tell you something. If you decide to have a one night stand with a white dude, black dude, purple dude, it doesn't matter. That's your choice for you. But to me, divesting is more about you only dating white men because you feel like it's a come up. You feel like it makes you more valuable if you date someone who's white. That's bullshit to me. No, no. You get to determine what your value is, not who you date. Who you date does not determine your value. Using another man for his money doesn't suddenly make his money yours. You didn't earn it. You didn't do what you need to do to get it. He got that money. You know? I wish that more black women would think before they start following behind all of these people who are giving them advice just waywardly. Men and women, especially when we're talking about people on YouTube, because YouTube, oh my God, YouTube is filled with so many false prophets. Hey, Aaron. Got people out here swearing what they say is the gospel truth. And y'all just follow behind them without even thinking, without even doing research first. Research first. Don't let people steer you in the wrong direction. That's what's wrong with a lot of betas. That's what's just wrong with a lot of people in general. A lot of people are lost. They're looking for leadership. So they're going all over the place looking for someone to give them advice about their life. All right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but you have to be careful who you're dealing with. You can't keep getting information from a poisonous source and then think that this information is going to improve your life. A lot of times the shit that you're listening to every day on social media is making your life worse. That's why you have to take the time to listen to what you're doing. Pay attention to what you're doing and pay attention to what you're listening to. When you hear somebody speaking, right? When it's riddled with them continuing to bash and drag and be hurtful it's too much. That's when it becomes a problem. It's like, okay, this content is always going to be negative. Every time this person get on the social media, something negative that they're saying is not fun anymore. The conversation not fun. Nobody's laughing. Everybody's in there serious. Some people in there arguing. If it always has to be a debate or argument, you're in the wrong community. It's interesting that women who benefit from feminism and enjoy equality and equity base it because they don't even know what feminist is or because it's popular to follow patriarchal gatekeepers. Um, the other day I was on TikTok, right? And this girl came in. And on the TikTok, I was talking about how women should take advantage of the fact that women came before us and created opportunities for us to go out there and get our own wealth and our own money without us having to fuck a man. Because there was a time we couldn't do all of these things. So women should stop using men for money because it's a slap in the face for all of the women that came before us that fought so hard to be able to go out there and get the jobs and stuff that they wanted without having to sleep with men to get it. And so a woman says to me, we'll never be equal with men because we can't beat their ass. I said, well, apparently you haven't watched a true crime documentary with females out here murdering dudes, robbing dudes, doing all types of stuff. Females can be strong. Trust me. You ain't never seen Wonder Woman. Now, I'm not saying that men and women are going to be equal. We'll never be equal because there are things that women bring to the table that men just don't got. And there are things that men bring to the table that women just ain't never going to have. All right. It is what it is. You got feminine energy, you got masculine energy. It's called balance of the universe. It will never be equal. It's just two different things. It's almost like comparing apples to oranges because women are women, men are men. So it'll never be a time where it will be equal. But what I want a lot of people to understand is the reason why some women are feminists is because they just want women to have the same freedoms and opportunities. Like we want to be able to go to work and get our own money. And when we do go to work and get our own money, we want to make the same salary as a man who's doing that same damn job. And just because we are a woman doesn't suddenly mean we are incompetent. We have brains. We actually have more brains than you. Men have brawn, women have brains. It's just the balance of the universe. Men might be stronger physically, but women, oh my God, our bodies are stronger in a different way. Do you think men could give birth? Oh, fuck no. They wouldn't be able to deal with it. Tiffany Taylor, I am aware. Majority of the YouTubers have criminal records. I said that. How many years? I've been saying that for years. Every time a YouTuber would get popular, especially in the Black community, trolls will come together and start digging up this person's personal information. And suddenly we're seeing mugshots and shit everywhere. And every time it never failed. Most of them had mugshots, had been arrested. I haven't been arrested. I haven't been to prison, haven't been to jail, nothing. And I noticed a lot of the YouTube content creators who had dubious characters, a lot of them had criminal records. I found out last night, or the day before that Kevin Samuels had a criminal record. I didn't even know that. So a lot of people use social media who are convicted felons because this is a place where you can come to and get more money. Because when you're a convicted felon, it's kind of hard for you to find a job. So you got to do something that's going to generate some money. And after you've been dealing with a couple of content creators and start listening to a couple of them, you'll start to figure out which one's the criminals and which ones are not. I gotta go, y'all. Thanks, Mark, for being here. I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go, I only do live streams for an hour. I got so much stuff I gotta do. But I appreciate y'all being here. Have vision and stay focused. Namaste.